Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I wish to contribute in the debate on the motion before the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, again, we want to say to government that you are the government, you call the shots. It is your prerogative, as you regularly quote in your responses to most of the interviews that you have been having. But we have a few questions. One, what is the objective? What are the reasons behind this, Mr. Speaker, sir? Are they merely political? Or is it a question of availability of funds? Or as the previous opposition used to say, there is no money? Or where is the money? So it's a question of what is the objective, what is the reason behind this, Mr. Speaker, sir? It leaves us confused because on the 4th of July, on the 12th of July, we had already agreed, and you have alluded to this, Mr. Speaker, sir, that pursuant to Standing Orders 129, that the Emoluments Committee be established to review the salaries and allowances. And again, on the 1st of September, so the 1st of August, the submission, because they were not able to submit their, and we understand that the work is still going on, and we are represented in the committee by the Honourable Whip and the Honourable Moses Mbulitabu, and we are well aware of the discussions that are taking place in the Emoluments Committee, Mr. Speaker, sir. So, where do we stand? Because the question that we will ask is this. This is going to be effective from the 1st of December. And when the work of the Emoluments Committee, say, is completed next year and submitted, and it's contrary to what we are going to agree on today, what will be our position? Because we have given the mandate to the Emoluments Committee, and yet now we are coming up, the Honourable Prime Minister is coming up with a motion on the determination of the allowances of the positions already highlighted, Mr. Speaker, sir. Then the question of timing, why now, not earlier? Is this just to satisfy the Minister for Finance, who has been talking about this in the interviews that he has been having lately with Vijay Narayan, Mr. Speaker, sir? So, is the Minister for Economy, Minister for Finance, is the Minister for Finance, again, like he did previously, forcing the Honourable Prime Minister to come up with this motion, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Order.
Who is really in charge, Mr. Speaker, sir? The Honourable Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister? If I may use one of the favorite lines of the Honourable Noe Kula, as you are well aware of, Mr. Prime Minister, sack your Finance Minister. Mr. Speaker, sir, he has been telling Vijay Narayan and all the interviews that he's going to come up with a motion to reduce the... But why not earlier? Why not in January? Why not in the first 100 days? You made full use of what was available. You milked it dry. And now you come into this house so that you can look good politically while the report of the Emoluments Committee is still pending. You want to reduce this. It's illogical. No, it doesn't make sense. Mr. Speaker, sir, let's stand on principles. The former leader of government is behind you. She is in charge of the Emoluments Committee, and she is doing all her best in trying to make and the current leader of government is also in the Emoluments Committee, Mr. Speaker, sir. Do we have faith and trust in the work that they are doing? Or shall we just disband the Emoluments Committee because they are ineffective and inefficient? Where do we stand? So it's the question of timing as well. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am well aware of Section 13, that it's on the determination of few of the positions, but at the same time, Mr. Speaker, sir, particularly on Section, this is why, Section 6, the principles to be applied when setting allowances and benefits. You've always talked about parliamentary processes, listening and consulting. That is the process, but now you want to short-circuit it again. Section 6 of the Remunerations Act of Parliament 2014. When setting the remuneration to be prescribed in a determination that relates to allowances and benefits, Parliament must also have regard to the following principles: that the allowances and benefits payable should be determined in a way that recognizes the need of the public understanding of the work of those persons, and in the case of members, their parties, and the services they require to enable them to carry out their roles and functions. Let me make it clear, Mr. Speaker, sir, that we are not against this reduction, but as a matter of principle, we are arguing about the committee that has been formed to look into this, and they would have been in a better position to go through the processes outlined under Regulation 6, Part 6 of the Act, Mr. Speaker, sir. As I've said, you are the government, you call the shots, it's your prerogative. We are not against it. Because in terms of fairness as well, it takes into consideration the need to be fair to the taxpayer. We are considerate of that, Mr. Speaker, sir. But again, we have an Emoluments Committee. Our decision, we will await the Emoluments Committee that we have already agreed to on the 12th of July. That's a matter of principle. Because otherwise, again, this is a confused government. This is a rudderless government. Where do you stand? There is a lot of inconsistency in the things that you bring into the floor of this House. This is what I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, if it's excessive, the process is there. And of course, 17 as well allows for this to be reviewed. I will not go into it. The Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, I will not go into it. You are the one that, you are one of the ministers that benefited a lot. You have been globe-trotting in the last few months. That is why you cannot fix these stalls on the roadside. Because you spend too much time overseas, not here in Fiji. You've milked the system dry, and then you want to come into this House and want to reduce it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Logic. Again, Honorable Prime Minister, he is the Prime Minister of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are aware of the UNDP allowance. We are aware of the subsistence allowance. But there is a reason behind this incidental allowance, Mr. Speaker, sir. This is not only for the Honorable Prime Minister, for all. This is for everybody. Again, I've talked about us punching above our own weight. We need to be relevant in the global world. We need to be well represented, Mr. Speaker, sir. Diplomacy, the art of diplomacy. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's not only the work of our diplomats. It's no longer the case now in this modern world. We as ministers, we are an extension arm of diplomacy. Mr. Speaker, sir, we don't just go and there are issues that needs to be socialized. They do this well in the private sector, Mr. Speaker, sir, because they have the funds. That is why they have all these functions in which we are. That's the art of diplomacy at work. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the last IPU meeting, Fiji has been given the chairmanship of smaller island states in IPU. We have to meet the Honorable Speaker from the Seychelles and the Honorable, the Deputy Chair as well. I've forgotten the name of the country, Mr. Speaker, sir. It was meeting over lunch. We have to pay for it. That is why the incidentals are there, Mr. Speaker, sir. $200, $300 for a minister, a meal in New York, take 5 people. Otherwise, we are just diplomacy, sir. It is there for a reason. It is there for a reason. We all live in a benefit-oriented society. But again, Mr. Speaker, sir, previously, the Honorable Prime Minister talked about what was there previously. But what came into effect in 2014, let me put it into perspective, Mr. Speaker, sir. While salaries and allowances were increased, although exorbitant, as you may say, but we took away most of the other benefits as well. The medical benefits, the insurance benefits, the housing benefits, the, what do you call, the tax-free, whatever, for a vehicle in, during a term. So you are just given the salary, you are just, and then you look after all your other expenses, Mr. Speaker, sir, from your salary and allowances that you are given. So it's balancing of the expenses and the income that you are getting. That was the logic behind it, Mr. Speaker, sir. Again, we are not against it. But as a matter of principle, we await the work of the Emoluments Committee as we agreed to on the 12th of July. And when that report comes into this Parliament, we will then debate and make the right decisions accordingly, Mr. Speaker, sir. That's my contribution.